Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I thought we'd have a quick look at these three Miltoniopsis. Several reasons. These were the ones that were bought at our 60th show, so that's end of March this year, as what looked like very good plants with some beautiful blooms. I put these into a separate little set, simply because when I got to look at them more closely, shall we say, they were in a media that, as far as I was concerned, wasn't suitable. Huge amounts of root loss, and discovered they were all infested with fusarium. So they started life pretty badly with me. Now, I bought them from Burnham's, but that's not where they came from. They actually came from a highly reputed nursery in Jersey, Eric Young Foundation, and they hadn't been with Burnham's long enough to have actually done that to the plants. So that's how Burnham's bought them. All they'd done is look after them for a short period of time and brought them to the show. They were bought in to sell on, mainly at that show, because the blooms were pretty impressive. I'll show those as we go along. So these, with me, started off pretty bad. Very poor root systems, seriously infected with fusarium. The colours were bright and deep into the rhizome. They were treated and then treated again, and they may well get done again, just in case. However, I think they've recovered okay from that. But I've just got these out as I was about to water them, and the other reason I wanted to show these is the time of year at the moment. Now, these live on the floor where it's coolest. They still get some airflow down there because of the little fans, yeah, but they're in my coolest place. They don't get a huge amount of light, but they're not in total shade, if you know what I mean. Now, on top of that, these also had signs of cold damage, where you get an almost translucent look to the leaves with darker patches than what you would say the normal leaf colour would be, and some leaves have dropped as a consequence, cell damage. So they got off to a poor start, but I thought we'd have a look at each one in turn. Now, this is the yellow one. I'll do the names because they're French because of where they came from. Now, we haven't got a good root system on this plant, but we have got some roots and some new ones growing. Yeah, but what we have got on this one is a good strong new growth pushing up here, and another one in the center of the plant. This is two plants by the looks of it. It may not have been when I planted it, it may have separated, but that is currently not attached to that, I can tell. And there's still movement in the pot, so I handle them carefully in case there's any new roots down in there. But they're coming on. I would say they've recovered. And as I say, two nice new growths on this one. And at some point, it will generate some new roots to a greater extent than what it's done so far. And these haven't been watered since the 25th of October. They're still wet. Two reasons: it's a lot cooler, shorter days, although these are now getting their day length extended. But what haven't they got in the pot? A good root system. They're not using the water. So although I've just got that out to water it, and it's not getting any, that doesn't mean the others will be in the same boat. So that was the yellow one. This one's the pink one. Again, we'll have a look down in the pot, see if we've got any. We've got some roots. It's not a good root system by any means. Let's have a look around the other side. There's a small amount of root activity, but not a lot. And we've got a new growth here, and a new growth here, and another new growth here. So this little plant has got three new growths, and this is the problem with Miltoniopsis that you've got to watch. Is in their normal environment they would be in montane forest like conditions, and these bracts or sheaths, whatever you want to call them, around the base of the pseudobulbs wouldn't get dry and woody. Yeah, but when they do, they do that to your roots. They push the roots upwards because the roots can't go downwards. So I'm going to have to get in and get that one off, because the roots from this new growth need to get down in the media along with the others. Now this one's okay. The roots will push down and they are starting to grow down in there. Same with this one. This one's okay. So if and when it decides to grow some roots, now there are a couple at the base of that one as well, they will get down in the media. But that one's going to struggle if I don't help. So I just need to get these sheaths out of the way so that those new roots can get down. So the new growths come up from those bracts basically, and under normal circumstances they'd be soft. So, and in addition to that, does that need watering? Does it help? So it's already been more than 10 days since it saw water. And then the last one, this is the very, very deep coloured one. Unusual coloured bloom, absolutely gorgeous. Now, that one has got a good root system. And that pot is drying from the top. So we've got quite a good root system coming on here. It's pushing out in quite a few places. Look around the other side of the pot. Yep. Now that's a happy root system, and I'm a happy bunny as a consequence. So you can see there's still new roots pushing out from this new growth. Now that one needs a drop of water, but not much. The bottom of the pot's still wet. That's because the roots are only just getting down in there. But this one is drying a bit quicker than the other two. Yeah. So we've got two new growths on that one. So we've got new growths. They are pushing on. They look healthy, yeah, and they are producing some roots. So that's those three. And again, it's a warning shot. Keep your eye on your watering, because you might find they don't need watering anywhere near as often. I mean, my temperatures have dropped right down recently. That will slow their growing speed to a degree, but not so much with these. They like it cool, so it's not going to have much effect on these. And now they've got their day lengths being slightly extended. They're quite a long way from the grow light, so the amount of light they're physically receiving is quite low. But nonetheless, some light is better than no light. And these are relatively low light orchids, so the effect on them could be a bit more dramatic than if, say, it was a cattleya sat at that distance, which would need quite a bit more light. So they're coming on. Recovered or recovering. I'm not going to say they're recovered yet, but they are recovering. Two of them are starting new root systems. One has got a new root system well underway. So we'll see how they do. But I would expect some blooms on at least some of these new growths. They may not be very good spikes. Miltoniopsis, under normal circumstances, have a spike with anything from 4 to 5 blooms up to about 8 or 9. You don't very often get huge numbers of blooms on Miltoniopsis spikes, but you know your plant's not too happy when you just get 1 or 2 blooms on a spike. That's not normal. There should be a few more than that. So the physical number of blooms on a spike can dictate whether it's a really happy plant or whether it's still struggling a bit. Most of the time Miltoniopsis struggle with the environment they're in rather than anything else. They've got to have everything happy. Everything. They've got to have a good root system in a suitable media that isn't breaking down under any stretch of the imagination. They don't like high feed. They don't like build up in the media of salts or anything like that. So good, clean, healthy root system, good humidity and some airflow and not too much light. And when all of that's right, they'll grow well and then they'll bloom well. So we'll see how they do, but not lost. I'm going to put a stake in that one because every time I look at it, it's wobbling, and I do have new roots coming out. I don't want them breaking off, so I'm going to put some stakes in around that one to hold that bit still. And then the others are okay, the other two. Just that one's a bit wobbly. I think when we actually repotted that, I said perhaps I ought to stake that. Yeah. Anyway, they're coming on. I won't class them as fully recovered yet, not until I can see a root system more along the lines of this. When they've all got a root system like that, I'll be happier. And that's probably 2 or 3 months away at least. Yeah. So we'll see how we do, but I hope we'll get some blooms down the line. At least they're not dying or stalled or anything like that. There is movement there. There are some roots growing, new growths are pushing on, so they're doing okay. See you next time.